Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we're discussing a watch launched in 2018. This is the Vacheron Constantin Historiques American 1921. It is the midsize. Came out late in the 2017 year for the 2018 model year, and it is the 36.5 millimeter version of the larger watch that launched back in 2008. This is very much a midsize. It's by no means small. So in terms of width across, it is 36.5 millimeters. It's nice and slim at 7.6 millimeters, and then 42 millimeters from lug to lug with an 18 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now here's why I say this is not a small watch. Being non-round, it wears unconventionally large for its rated size. That looks like a 38 to 40 millimeter conventional round watch, but you could see that the lugs, being short and stubby, come nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Super flat. It's a Vacheron. It's a dress watch. It will fit underneath a formal cuff, and even this angle, which often makes the watch look broader than it is, still reveals the lugs to be well inboard of the edge of my wrist. So if your wrist is as small as 13 centimeters circumference, you're going to find this is the best possible size. And you can see from this angle why it's often been speculated that the historic predecessors of the Americans were actually watches intended for drivers. So the watches from 1919 and 1921 have this particular offset to the dial so that you might feel as though when your hand is on the wheel, you're looking at the watch upright and in the most natural position to read the dial. That's why these are often speculatively described as early driver's watches. The strap is a beautiful piece, large rectangular scale alligator leather, gloss finish. We have a dark brown with a monotone stitch, a sheer cut side showing the layers of leather, calfskin on the bottom. We have a brand new Vacheron factory strap with neither crimping nor gouging. We have a pin buckle in rose gold to match the watch. You can see it features the Maltese cross, which is the emblem of Vacheron. You'll find it also on the dial as well as on the crown. And as I mentioned earlier, there were watches from 1919 and 1921 that actually became what we consider to be the modern Historique 1921. So this watch is actually a medley of those two different years of production. It's a monoblock case, which is to say the case back is separate, but the bezel and the case itself are one piece. So this is all seamless all the way around. The watch features a cushion case profile with relatively short, stubby, welded lugs. That's a nice old school way of making a case, to weld lugs and then remove the gathered material by hand to create that sharp crease. And you'll appreciate that the dial has a lovely granular finish, so it's beautifully textured, and it features what I would describe as pre-Art Deco Arabic numerals. These are somewhere between Breguet Arabic numerals and Art Nouveau, which were very much au courant at the time the original watches were made. We have modified blackened gold Breguet hands at center and a counterweighted Lancet-style seconds hand in a sunken small second sub-register that has an internal concentric pattern. There's a railroad track outboard for reading the minutes, and then a tiny one on the small seconds for reading the seconds. And we have that applied rose gold Maltese cross. Vacheron, fun fact, the oldest Swiss watch manufacturer in continuous operation. There are those with older origins, but at some point they were either bankrupt or out of business, or the brand went on hiatus. Vacheron, since 1755, has always been making watches in Geneva. Now turn it all over, and we have a lovely movement that was launched concurrent with the original modern American 1921 back in the late 2000s, around 2008. We got the 40 millimeter version of this watch, but also caliber 4400, which is a beautiful manufacturer manual wind movement from Vacheron with a very traditional layout. All this is water resistant down to 30 meters, which is dress watch standard, splash and rain exposure only. You could see that there is a crown wheel with a lovely off-center solarized core. Look at that, how the solarization, the graining radiates out from the screw most inboard rather than the center of the crown wheel core. That's really cool. And you go from the crown wheel to an intermediate wheel to the large single barrel, which you can see features solarization under its bridge. Then we have a pocket watch like center wheel architecture with center, third, fourth escape wheel. We have one sharp inward angle where bevels meet. We have two, we have three sharp inward angles. A lot of Geneva hallmark movements out there don't have one sharp angle where bevels meet in a well-formed crease. That's always a nice signature of true hand finishing finishing of a bevel. Even if it's started mechanically, but finished by hand, you can create that sharp crease. We have lovely stripes or Côte de Genève, and you can see they are abrasive wheel Côte de Genève, not the stamped kind, because there's a distinct shading gradient from light to dark across the stripes. We have black polished screw heads with chamfered slots in circumference. We have individually reamed and polished sinks for both screws and jewels, which is a lovely little piece of decoration. The solarization on the barrel really is quite special. There's engine turning on the base plate. You can see that the stud holder and the regulator have been black polished. The beveling's lovely, broad, and mirrored. Manual wind. The watch has a 65-hour power reserve, a 4 Hz beat rate. Pivots on 21 jewels. It is 5-position adjusted, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. Exactly what I'd expect on a watch of this stature. Just about the only feature it doesn't have is hacking seconds. That's one feature it does not have, but plenty of power reserve and plenty of fine finish, including satination and a small amount of internal beveling within the wheels. The watch features the Geneva hallmark, which is the imprimatur of ultimate quality for a watch made in the city or canton of Geneva, but this watch goes further, as since about mid-2012, the Geneva hallmark applies to both the movement and the fully assembled watch, a signature of the finest quality for watches that are made in the Geneva city or canton. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.